Hi, Janet. Thank you for coming to speak with me again.
Thank you for having me.
So, I would love to know, since we last spoke, which was almost 3 years ago now, what has changed? You were here before talking about your planner, and so what's changed since then?
Gosh, lots has changed. Still selling the planner. I'll talk more about that in a second. But I've changed the offer quite a lot. And one of the things that I was finding was that the price of the planner, um, well, there were a few things really, but because was a content and business planner, it's really important to me that if people invest in one of my products, that it works for them and they get good results. And so something I always really struggled with was people be like, "Oh, I bought your planner," and like, I haven't got £1 million business. And of course, we all know that obviously investing in any resource for your business, you got to do the work. And so I've tried always to provide supporting resources, so uh, social media post templates, different types of content templates, and training to ensure people actually don't just buy the thing and it sits on the desk and they actually do it. And I think I've got better and better, at sort of providing better resources and things. But at the end of the day, you can take a horse to water and all that, but you can't make them drink. But it makes me feel better just to know that we've just tried. But one thing I was finding is when I was selling the planner only, I wanted to move away from that because like I say, just buying a business planner, if you don't actually use it, you don't implement any of the stuff, you don't think about the strategy. Because for me, content and is all about publishing the right content at the right time, not just publishing any old content. So I decided I had a stage because I've been through different stages with it where you could just buy the planner or you could buy supporting resources. And I decided this year to just sell the planner and the supporting resources and to make the decision to sell less, but the price would be higher, which has actually gone well in terms of revenue. And part of the motivation behind that was to, in the nicest possible way, to discourage those kind of clients, because I think pricing sometimes um, it's one of your tools in terms of you attracting the right customers for your product. And I was attracting people who are just like, oh, this is a pretty planner, and oh, great, my business is, and those people can often be the people that require the most customer service and the most, they're asking questions and wondering why they don't get one-to-ones for their, £37 plan or whatever. So from a revenue point of view, it's worked really well. I've not seen a dip in revenue from the planner. Um, and I've also I feel like personally, although I'm not quite sure now, but I feel personally that I've come to the end of the road with that product, and I've thought about selling it, and I've actually sort of made inroads to kind of selling it, because although I think it's a great product and it's been going for like 7, 8 years, got a big audience list and customer list and a lot of loyalty. There's a part of me that feels like I've taken it as far as I could do, and maybe somebody else could take it on the next stage. So I have considered selling it and making tentative moves towards that. At the moment, I'm still a little bit unsure, because for me, it needs to be the right person or the right business that sells it, and I found that yet. Um, and it's still a big part of my business. In a way, it's become a bigger part of my business because I had a lot of digital products that I used to sell alongside it. Um, so yeah, I don't know if any of that's kind of helpful. There's a lot there.
No, it's really helpful. Thank you. That's a lot that's changed. And with all, you've taken all that into account, Janet, what would your advice for other people be?
I think when clients say to me about increasing sales of products, the one thing I always want to look at is how can we sell more in one go? And so rather than so for example, there's a client I've worked with who's got pet a pet product, and I feel like they come back to me every year and ask the same things. And I'm like, yes, there are things that you can do to drive more traffic to your website or Amazon if you're selling on Amazon or whatever. But actually, what might be a better way or a way to explore is to look at, well, how can I partner with brands where I might be able to sell more of them in one go, or how might I be able to bundle up products together? So for me, I'm always looking at what's going to be the less work or take the less time. So sometimes that might be about, what can I do to bundle products together? Like with products, how can I get rid of things that are actually taking up a lot of time and energy but aren't my best sellers? It might be about streamlining. Like in my case, because it's a business resource, something that I've always done is tried to offer training to go alongside it and resources to help with implementation. So it's about providing more value, but basically what I'm getting to is how can you increase the what's the word I'm looking for? The revenue from each sale, and how can you do it in a way that doesn't involve you just keep selling to, one after the other afterwards. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that does. I think it makes total sense because presumably if you've got these products, you need to be thinking about how to maximize what you have. So I see a lot of people doing bundling. That seems to be really popular
Yeah.
lately. A lot of my clients are looking, okay, can I sell this with this, or this makes a nice
Mm.
add-on to that? Because I think just increasing your average order value makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense as well.
Something I've also done this year, which might be quite useful, is I hadn't done as much audience building as I normally would have done at this stage in the year. So I partnered um, with other sort of online, uh, I don't know, coaches or consultants or whatever, and I paid them for me to deliver masterclasses. Which you might think, oh, you're paying to get in front of, but they were exactly the right people for me, different industries, and it was cheaper than Facebook advertising. And it's advantageous to them because they're getting, a masterclass. It's all above board because then, I can make a pitch at the end. And I've actually, again, it's not just about that, in my case, that just one product that you've sold, but, I've had a few much bigger clients that have come from that. That's been their sort of entry level product. So I think it's also just about again, it's about thinking about different ways that you can get in front of new audiences and not just thinking, oh, Google ads or Facebook ads, but thinking about more creative ways, thinking about more cost-effective ways to get in front of more of the right kind of people for you.
That's so helpful. Thank you. I think you're right. I think that's a really good example of doing something quite different because I haven't heard of anyone else paying to deliver content to other people's audiences before. Because I think often people are looking to get paid to do that. That's the
Mm.
scenario I see. But I
Mm.
think knowing that they were the exact sort of right clients for you, that does make total sense. So I guess it's also there's something about just thinking differently.
Yeah, it's a list builder, so I've added like hundreds of new people to my email list, but also I made sales as well, and not just sales for the product, but also other sales that came off the back of it because they're new potential customers. It's like a great way of growing leads for obviously for particular type of businesses.
Yeah, of course. And I guess knowing so that it, and also I guess comes back to the basics of sort of knowing who your ideal client is to even identify, where to find them and,
Yeah,
whose audience they might already be in.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for everything you shared, Janet.
No, I'm glad to be of help.
Thank you. And it's always nice to catch up.